Hello and welcome to this short video looking at some data about the spread of the coronavirus. A few days ago we shared our first video and we were looking at the number of cases around the world and also in specific countries. So all the data we're looking at here has been collected by the World Health Organization, all available online. You can get their situation reports every day on the World Health Organization website. So today we're going to be looking specifically at the number of deaths due to coronavirus. We're going to be looking at the numbers around the world and in various individual countries as well. So this first chart here is showing the number of deaths in total. The vertical axis there, you can see that it runs from 0 at the bottom to 5,000 at the top. And the first line we're going to see here is the world total for the number of deaths due to coronavirus. The second line is the number of deaths in China specifically, and you can see that at the start of the graph there, for most of that chart up until late February, the red line and the blue line are pretty much mirroring each other, and this is because the number of deaths occurring in China was pretty much accounting for all of the deaths worldwide. The other lines on the chart there, you've got the yellow line, which is Italy, and the green line, which is Iran, and the pink line, which is the rest of the world combined, so the number of deaths in total outside of China, Italy, and Iran. So we can see that towards the start of March, the red line and the blue line separate. This is because the number of deaths in China stops rising so dramatically. But then the death rate in Italy, Iran, and the rest of the world starts to increase towards the end there. And that's where you get that final upwards curve in the red line. This next chart we're going to look at is more specifically at the coronavirus deaths outside of China. So we're going to look a bit more in detail at those other countries such as Italy and Iran. So you can see here the number of deaths is shown on the vertical axis here, and it runs from 0 at the bottom to 1,500 at the top. So the first country here again is Italy, and then the second country there is Iran, third country is Spain, and the green line fourth country there is France, then Korea, South Korea, and finally the United States. So these 6 countries currently, as of March the 17th, have the highest number of deaths in total other than China. So you can see Italy there, the red line, has the highest rate overall, and that curve is going up very steeply. Second to Italy is Iran. Their curve started rising a little bit earlier, so they were having deaths occurring a little bit earlier in March and late February, but that curve has not gone up as steeply as Italy. The other countries there, Spain, the curve has just started to rise towards the end there, and there's been quite a dramatic increase in the last couple of days. France, Korea, and the United States have also had quite a significant number of deaths there, but the curve is not rising so steeply, or it's just on its way towards a similar kind of upwards curve. We'll have to see how that goes in the future. This third chart is a little bit different. The previous 2 charts looked at the total number of deaths, and therefore the lines were only going to go up. Whereas this chart's going to look at the number of deaths per day. And you can see there on the vertical axis, you've got the deaths per day going from 0 at the bottom to 1,000 at the top. First of all, the red line is the total number of deaths per day worldwide. The second line, blue line, is China, so total number of deaths in China each day. And you can see that for the first half, up until about mid to late February, almost all of the deaths were taking place in China. And then we've got the yellow line there for Italy and the green line for Iran, which have almost 0 deaths up until early March, when those lines start to curve upwards. And the same is true for the pink line, the rest of the world, where the number of deaths starts to increase towards the end, towards the middle of March, and where we are now. There's that little jump in the middle around February 13th for the world's total and China total. And those 2 days, those 2 consecutive days can be averaged because there was a correction here where the figures were adjusted. So you can flatten out that line a little bit. That's a bit of a daily fluctuation there. Towards the end there, we can see that really steep rise in the number of deaths worldwide, which is mostly due to what's happening in Italy. And we're going to explore those other countries outside of China a little bit more in the next chart. But you can see there on March the 17th, where we are now, 1,000 deaths occurring in a single day. So that's the most deaths in a day since this crisis began. The next chart we're going to look at here is a little bit more in detail at the countries outside of China, and it's going to focus quite heavily on Europe because a lot of the deaths that are occurring now are happening in Europe. So you can see there on the vertical axis we've got 0 at the bottom and 500 at the top. First line here again is going to be Italy, and we can see that sharp curve where it's really rapidly increased there over time. With Iran, the blue line, also we've got a similar upwards curve, but it started a little bit earlier and it's a little bit flatter. And then there is that last day, March the 17th, where no deaths were recorded. Remember that there are daily fluctuations, so we have to wait for more data to see the general trend of the curve and whether that's continuing upwards. It may just be that the paperwork and the reporting of the data itself was not up to date on that one day. So we have to see how the general trends are over time. We then got Spain, France, United Kingdom and United States. So these 6 countries have had the highest number of deaths in a single day outside of China. So United Kingdom and United States they're included in the chart because the UK had 20 deaths in a single day and the USA had 17 deaths in a single day. But you can see there that the situation is currently much worse in Italy, Iran and Spain. Thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow for another new video. So far we've been looking at the number of cases and the number of deaths due to coronavirus, and this is the kind of thing that you'll be hearing most days in news broadcasts. Tomorrow we'll be digging a little bit deeper and looking in detail at what this information can tell us about the spread of the coronavirus and how things might change in the future.